You've probably heard of Voodoo Ranger IPA, but have you heard of Voodoo Ranger Experimental IPA? Brand extension is the newest craze in brewing.
I've devoted my life to hanging around local bars. Today, you can benefit from that wealth of experience with another edition of Joe Sixpack's Essentials. We're going to go to Fishtown.
All for the public good, my friend. We are at Tasker's Beer Barn, Route 422, Exeter Township. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's brewing?
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, the perfect place for your holiday gathering. Reach out today at events@conchohockenbrewing.com.
Hey, welcome to What's Brewing. He's Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. We're so delighted to be back for another season, drinking beer, talking to you, and delighted to be back with our friends at Tasker's Beer Barn, Route 422 in Exeter. This place has more beers than Joe Sixpack could drink in 10 years.
Whoa.
Maybe 8 years.
Okay.
Anyway, it's a great place. Come by and enjoy it all. And kind of today we're talking about an issue germane to that because it's beer brands you know, but they're creating kind of offshoots, extensions.
Extensions, exactly. I mean, we know that the brewery is the thing in craft beer, but lately I've seen a lot of breweries focus on one label and then expand off of that. We're going to taste a couple here.
Okay, let's start with the Voodoo Ranger, which I mentioned. This is their Juicy Hazy IPA, a fine beer, which I have enjoyed in the past. I'm sure you have as well.
This has been one of their standard bears, the Voodoo Ranger.
Just a short one, just so that we can just kind of check it out, right? Nice.
I got to guess this is probably their #1 beer these days. Fat Tire used to be their big beer, but as an IPA brewery,
okay. This checks in at 7.5%. So they also make Voodoo Ranger Experimental IPA, and they make Voodoo Ranger Imperial IPA.
Right.
I just opened this one, so let's give this a shot.
They make pumpkin beer with the name, and they make all kinds of seasonals. They use the Voodoo Ranger as their base name.
So this is different than a brewery that will make an IPA and a Pilsner and a Stout and a lager.
I don't know if you can see because I already drained my hazy one, but this is a clear beer. It doesn't even seem like it would bear any relationship to the original.
Right. So, but it's not a separate beer. It is somehow ingrained from the original. At least they're selling you that way.
You tell me, taste those two beers and tell me how close they are, because I don't really see them being similar beers.
No, I wouldn't even know they're from the same brewery.
Right, right. So they're essentially using...
So we're going with marketing here as well?
Yeah, I think so. This is nothing new, Glenn. I mean, we know, the likes of Bud Light, they've been doing this for a while.
This is what you brought to the game, huh?
No, I'm just using this as an example just to say, that even craft breweries can learn from the big guys, and they have here. So,
don't they have the Lime-A-Rita or something like that?
Right. They made so many different varieties of it. There's the lime.
Seen that at all too many tailgates.
They made like a Bloody Mary beer at one. I think it's still out there. I mean, all under the Bud Light label.
Okay, now that you've put up a wall of Bud Light, can we try something else?
Right, try to get past that there. So,
what are these, 24 ounces?
That's ballpark size there, I think.
It's a big ballpark. Okay,
yeah.
So what are we going to try?
All right, so Heavy Seas has been doing this as well too. They've played off of their Double Cannon, which was an IPA, or a double IPA, I guess, and they've played off it with developing a whole series of Tropicana beers with different flavors. This is the Citrus IPA, which I think I think you're a fan of.
Oh, I'm a big fan of Citrus IPA, but again, they're all kind of offshoots from the same.
Well, they're using
source. At least they're trying to tell you that.
Yeah, exactly. But well, let's again, we'll try a couple different flavors.
This is very orangey.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's like
it's
really,
very.
Wow.
It's not just like your basic blood orange where you get a hint. Like that's the nose.
Although it's not as fruity and sweet. It's not a sweet beer.
You know what? And we've had this conversation before. In a flight, 4 ounces, you bet. 16-ounce can, I don't think so.
All right, well, let's try something pushing it out even further then. This is the Tropicana Strawberry Banana IPA. Strawberries and bananas are not normally anything you ever think of in conjunction with IPAs, but here we go. Wow, I get a lot of banana.
No, you know what
nose.
this is? This is at the end of the night when everything that isn't drunk gets poured into a bucket.
Yes.
And it's all everybody's leftovers from everything that was poured that night. Who makes this beer?
This is Heavy Seas.
Heavy Seas, I apologize, but that's...
But Glenn, with the added benefit that it's cold and refreshing.
It is cold, I'll give it that. So they're doing this because they can, but they're doing it, there's a shelf space issue here, right? As we sit here at a fine...
I think what they've done is they've developed a well-recognized brand, and they're just expanding off of it. It's no longer good enough just to be Heavy Seas Brewing in this case. We're going to play with that Tropicana, or the Cannon one. We've seen this. Victory has done it with Golden Monkey. They've expanded
Yeah, they got the Sour Monkey,
that
right.
brand. Cigar City is doing it with High Lie.
Well, I know they got a low alcohol High Lie.
Right.
They may have others as
High
well.
Low. They
High
do
Low.
Pineapple Tangerine, which was probably
Geez, enough
right.
with this.
But they're
Okay.
playing off of their brand.
So here's what this says to me. Because I went to a supermarket recently, and I try to stay out of the cookie aisle, but there I was. And I'm looking, and the Oreos go for a mile, right? So it's Oreos and double stuffed Oreos and vanilla Oreos and gingerbread Oreos. And I'm thinking, who in the world needs to buy cinnamon crisp Oreos? But they're doing it because they're a big company. They can own the whole shelf.
Sure.
You see it, and there's got to be some of that going on here,
I think
right?
so too. I mean, what Oreos, maybe Nabisco? I don't know.
Yeah.
But nobody buys Nabisco. They buy Oreos. So they're playing off of that brand. It's a big variety based on the Oreos.
I got to have something good. This was good, this stuff. Holy cow. Give me a second. I got to recover.
Oh, boy. I'll tell you. Glenn sacrifices his palate every week for this show.
Well, I let you know when I don't like
Yes,
something
you do.
anyway.
You do.
Hey, coming up, a special segment. I'm going to try to do this in accent. Oh, those crazy Brits. A lot of fun stories coming up next. We're at Tasker's Beer Barn, Route 422 in Exeter Township. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's brewing?
You don't have to go away to get away. Go and explore. Find the small businesses that make where you live a community. When you dine, choose homemade. On a free weekend, discover the great outdoors. And if it's brewed here, enjoy it with friends. Support small for an experience you won't find anywhere else. Make it local, make it Main Street, make it Modco.
Welcome back to What's Brewing with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. Delighted to have you back for our new season on NBC Sports Philadelphia. What's Brewing? We appreciate so much all of our sponsors, the network, everybody we get to work with because we drink beer and talk to you about it. So this segment is devoted to those crazy Brits.
Those crazy Brits. Hold on, where's that accent again, Glenn?
Those crazy Brits with them several stories. One is an update of a thing we did last year about there's this tiny little island off the north coast of England where they needed somebody to move there, run the place, which is mostly the local pub.
It's a local pub, Peel Island it's called.
Yeah.
They were looking for somebody to run their pub, but the added benefit of being the king of the island.
Yeah, but you had to make a 10-year commitment to live on this tiny little fly speck of an island.
Well, they found somebody. There was actually 200 applicants for this job, and
Really?
they got it down to this guy. He's an electrician, so he knows how to keep
He's
the
handy.
lights on there.
Good.
Guy named Aaron Sanderson. He beat these other 200 applicants, and now he's the king of the island, and he runs this thing. By the way, he gets to sit on a throne made out of a beer keg, and he has a helmet. What a great story. I mean, only in Britain, right?
That's great. Well, here's what else is in Britain. Here's the job for you. This kind of relates to that. There's a British town, Congleton, 25 miles north of Manchester, where it was founded 750 years ago. And when it was founded, there were...
That's like a new city in England, isn't
Yeah,
it?
right. There were 4 jobs that had to be filled. The mayor, the debt collector, who, by the way, could put people in the stocks if they didn't pay.
All right.
The town crier, and the ale taster. and they decided after all these years, let's bring back an ale taste.
Really, it's an essential part of running a local government, isn't it?
Well, apparently it was back then because water wasn't safe to drink. We did a piece on this like 100-something years ago in Philly, where they argued that you had to have the beer because the water wasn't safe. The kids were drinking the beer back 750 years ago. So during his 12-month tenure, Brian Boswell he's going to be known as Benedict Goodale.
Okay.
He gets to wear a ceremonial costume, and he said, it doesn't pay much, but I get to drink whenever I want.
There you go. It's a good job with side benefits.
All right, he's got that gig. Third story of the day out of Britain. God, these people are nuts. The town of Cockington, yes, I said it correctly,
Okay.
in Devon, has a new mayor. The old mayor died in 2019.
Oh,
It was very
tell me
sad.
about it.
Yeah. The new mayor,
All right.
it's a beer-drinking pony.
A pony.
Pony.
Nay.
Yes. There is the pony, Patrick the pony, a miniature Shetland pony, is known to hang around the local pub called The Drum, where he has his own special corner of the bar. Wouldn't want to follow Patrick in there, and apparently gets to drink whenever he wants and does. They brought him in, I don't quite understand this, they brought him in during the pandemic to socialize and help people cope with stress.
Okay.
And he became a regular, and he is so popular that after the mayor died and they hadn't filled it, they said, Patrick's the new mayor. So the beer drinking mayor, and we have pictures of the beer drinking mayor, he's running the place.
So you're telling me the mayor is a mayor?
Well, I think he's a guy, but still a good joke.
Okay.
I like
Thanks.
it. Okay, any other puns you want to throw in with that one?
Give me
You're
a
done?
chance.
Okay. All right. Wait, hold on. There is one more. What kind of bottle do you think he drinks from? The ponies.
Ooh.
Okay,
All
finally.
right. Oy.
Finally, there is the Guinness Book of World Records has a new record holder for the most pubs visited in 24 hours, which is 56. But I think this is a fraud.
Hold it. 56.
56
Okay.
pubs in 24 hours, yes.
All right.
But hold on, because I think this is a fraud record. And I was in the Guinness Book of World Records one year, 1975. Longest hopscotch game, 36 hours. Hello. True story. Anyway, Gareth Murphy of Caernarfon drank at 56 Cardiff pubs in 24 hours, breaking the record of 51. But here's the rule. The rule requires that he has to have a drink at each pub, but not alcohol. So Murphy said he had some beer during the attempt, but his drinks also included orange juice, apple soda, Coca-Cola, lemonade, Diet Pepsi, and cranberry juice.
What's the point?
Right?
You could do that in McDonald's.
You could go to 56 McDonald's.
Right.
So I would argue that that's a little bit bogus.
I would too. My question is, did he take a leak at each one of those pubs? Because that would be the true test.
I can answer that.
Okay.
Quote, I lost count of how many toilet breaks I took, he said. At the beginning, it was minimal, one every 10 pubs or so. By the end, I was going once every 2 or 3 pubs. So there you go.
Okay. That's, what is it? Is it in the water over there in England where they're doing these weird
don't know.
beer drinking feats and so on?
I've been to England. I'm sure you've been to England. The pub scene over there is so great. I don't think I did 56 pubs in the 11 days I was there, but it's a goal.
Did you run into any beer drinking ponies?
Yes, well, maybe next time. All right, coming up next, and we really think this is a fun feature. Get out your pads and pens, boys and girls, because you're going to want to write this down. Joe Sixpack is turning his lifetime as a guzzler into something important, which is telling you the places you need to go. Next up, Fishtown. We are at Tasker's Beer Barn, Route 422 in Exeter. Joe Sixpack, Glen Macnow. What's brewing? Glen Macnow here with Andrew Colligan, beer genius from Conshohocken Brewing Company. Andrew, let's run down some of our core beers with some exciting new looks. Start with Type A.
Our #1 selling beer. Big citrus hop notes. Type A is our classic American IPA.
Life Coach Hazy IPA.
Hazy, bright, and juicy. The perfect beer for all day, every day.
Puddler's Row.
Maybe the best English ale in the country. Back-to-back silver medals at the World Beer Cup.
Backpack Beer.
The newest addition to our year-round lineup. Citrus and spicy with a refreshingly clean finish. Pack a few and enjoy the view.
And everybody loves Ring the Bell.
My go-to. Smooth, easy drinking lager that's perfect before, during, or after the game. This one's out of here!
Thank you, Harry. All exciting choices. Enjoy them all and a whole lot more at all of our Conshohocken Brewing Company locations. And wherever beer is sold. Welcome back to What's Brewing. We are at Tasker's Beer Barn, Route 422, Exeter Township. All of these beers and more. It's an amazing.
But we're not slowing down.
Yeah, no, it's an amazing. No, we are. We're putting in the work for you, and you put in the work for decades. And we decided this year to do a series called Joe Sixpack Essentials, where every week you're going to kind of tell people different neighborhood, different town, different part of the area where the places they should absolutely check out.
These are my essential joints, but they, I know everybody has their favorite haunts, so keep going to those places. But if you don't know about these places, you should check them out. And this week we're going to do Fishtown.
Ah, Fishtown.
I lived in
Revitalized
Fishtown. It is. I lived there for 10 years. I moved out, and then it started taking off. Exactly.
Coincidence?
Yes.
I think not.
Not one bit, actually. Get rid of Joe's Sixpack, and we can clean this place up. Johnny Brenda's, you got to go to Johnny Brenda. I mean, that is the essential Fishtown place. It is the bar that kicked everything off in Fishtown. It actually, little known fact, Johnny Brenda's actually was Johnny Brenda's before that. It was named after a boxer named Johnny and Brenda. It was just a local corner bar.
How about that?
I used to hang out there, but then the guys from Standard Tap went in there, opened it up, and turned it into a wonderful beer bar, excellent kitchen and music. I will also say, though, that there's other bars in Fishtown that you should definitely check out. If you're there, this very walkable neighborhood, Craftwork, Memphis Tap Room, Interstate Draft House, The Garage, Frankfurt Hall, Barcade, all great bars in that neighborhood.
Barcade, I've been to Barcade.
Yeah.
You and I once, several years ago on this show, did a thing on what's the best bar neighborhood in Philadelphia. I don't know if we agreed it was Fishtown, but boy, Fishtown got a lot of attention when we did it.
It's hard to beat it these days. And also, we don't really talk too much about, fine dining restaurants, but that's where it's happening there now too. So,
okay, so those are the bars.
The bars.
How
yes.
about breweries?
All right,
there?
so two breweries I think you got to really check out. One is Human Robot, which is, technically maybe not be Fishtown. It's sort of northern Fishtown, southern Kensington. Operates out of a former horse stable. They're making exceptional European style lagers.
Yeah.
The milk pours, we had one at Forest in Maine. They are known for those milk pours. Really fantastic beer.
Explain what the milk pour is.
It is basically all foam. They're fun.
I was good at that part.
Yes, you were.
I can
you
pour
poured
foam.
it professionally.
Yes.
Exactly. So a lot of fun and making really spectacular beer, I think.
Okay,
The other place, again, not necessarily right in Fishtown. That's within walking distance, though. But I think you cannot deny that Yards Brewing in Northern Liberties is an essential beer place because it really set the standard for Philadelphia beer. It's grown into this wonderful, 70,000 square foot brewery on Spring Garden Street. Excellent location. Wonderful beers. You go there to taste beers that you may not get that are that are packaged.
Yeah.
The one-offs and so on.
And Tom Keogh's still doing it.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's the best. And as you said, they kind of set the early standard for local craft breweries.
Exactly. And again, there's other local breweries in that Fishtown, sort of Northern Liberties area. I have to point to Source Brewing, Evil Genius, Fermentary Forum, very funky beer. You got to make your way up there. Punch Buggy Brewing and Philly Brewing, of course.
Nice. Well, that is a happening part of town.
Yes.
Joe Sixpack's Essentials get you to Fishtown. Okay, this year on the show, we're doing a new thing. We're giving out our own awards. We call them the Guzzlies because, quite frankly, that's what we do. And we're finding different categories each week and then allowing you to vote. We asked on social media, by the way, I'm at Real Glen Macnow. He's at beer_radar on Twitter, so you can find us and reach out to us. And I put out, what's the best beer bar or brewery that has live music? Best combination. Here's some of the nominees I got, and then you'll read the four.
We got some really good suggestions.
We did.
There,
In some of these places, I don't know, so I'm just going to say, Kennett Square Brewing, they said great bluegrass music. I would listen to that. Mm-hmm. Breaker Brewery in Northeast PA. You were up there
I
a
was
little
just
while
up
ago.
there. I didn't see any music, but great location. We're going to be talking about Northeast Pennsylvania.
Okay. Great American Pub in Phoenixville. Sure. The Great Barn Beer in Warrington. Lost Tavern Brewing. Tellus in Lancaster. We got several places in Lancaster, 360 in Lancaster. There are a few that we kind of knew about and agreed, and we may be missing some, but here are the ones that we're putting up for your vote.
Right, we want you to vote on these. So the 4 that we're talking about, vote for the livest music. All right. Dawson Street Pub in Manayunk.
Yeah.
Long-term local beer bar, wonderful local music. Broken Goblet Brewery up in Bensalem. Great stage, wonderful music program. Johnny Brenda's, just mentioned it.
Wow. It's Johnny Brenda's segment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Up in Fishtown. And finally, a newish brewery, the Fuge up in Warminster.
Ooh, I don't know this place.
It is a
Spell that
former centrifuge.
Oh, F-U-G-E?
F-U-G-E, but it was an old centrifuge that trained astronauts, and it's a great little location for events and music.
Really?
And a brewery.
And it's in Warrington, you said?
Yes, that's Warminster.
Warminster.
Yeah.
When are we getting up there?
I hope this season.
Okay,
So.
there you go. Becca, get us up there. Okay, but today we are happy to be at Tasker's Beer Barn, of course, in Exeter. Next segment, we're going to find out all the stuff that's going on here, tell you about a couple other things with Joe Sixpack. I'm Glen Macnow. The name of the show is What's Brewing?
So, what do you want to do today?
Today, I want to run. I want to skate. I want to see a show. I want to play. I want to eat, like a lot. I want to sleep in a hotel. Can we do all that?
We can do all that and more.
We're in one of my favorite places in the world, the beer aisle, here at Tasker's Beer Barn. I'm with Andrew. You're going to show me a little bit of what you got here. Let's just take a cruise down the beer aisles here.
Sounds excellent.
Okay.
So here at Tasker's, we have well over 400 different types of beers. It does get a little overwhelming sometimes because you never know what you're going to find. But just strolling down this aisle, we have one of my favorites here from a local brewery called Sly Fox. I'm a huge Phillies fan. So that all checks out here. It's probably the perfectly named beer that I've ever seen.
Slugger?
It's called Slugger, and it just goes well with baseball, I'll tell you that
I've
much.
had this beer. It's really good with baseball. They make a regular Pils beer as well.
Yep, yep.
I don't know if I've seen it lately.
That right here. Oh,
No, that's the IPA.
Nope.
But they do make a Pils. This is an unfiltered Pilsner
Yes, it is.
from
Yes,
Sly
it is,
Fox.
yeah.
Unfiltered means that it's going to be a little bit cloudy, I guess,
yep.
But it's got good body as well.
Definitely, but when you're dealing with unfiltered beers, the best thing to do is always take your can and just give it a nice little roll, get everything, reincorporated before you open it up so you don't have that nice little surprise at the end.
Oh, okay.
So that helps with that for sure.
All right.
Coming down this way, we also have Stable 12, which is a reasonably local craft beer from our area.
Stable 12 is in Phoenixville.
Yep.
I've been to their place a number of times. I didn't realize that they were canning.
Yes, they are. Yes, and it's absolutely flying off the shelves. It's always cool to see local stuff sell. It's even more cool when it's great beer.
Right. Who wouldn't want a beer called Sugar-Coated Pony Kisses? I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
Is it really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then their We Are Lager is great for any Penn State fan too.
Oh, of course, We Are.
Very sessionable. I expect to see a lot of these cans at the blue and white game. And cruising down a little further, we'll come to Fegley's. Fegley's Brew Works. They make some of the most interesting beers that I've had the pleasure of tasting.
So this is their Hopsalutely. This was my first ever declared Joe Sixpack Beer of the Year. It's still good. It's a triple IPA.
Yep.
Everybody always talks about Pliny the Younger. This is the beer that I said compared to it.
I 100% agree. That's actually what I use to compare that beer to for customers.
There
So
we
that
go.
completely checks out. They also have amazing bourbon barrel selections. This guy right here, the Insidious, absolutely phenomenal. Very dark, very strong. Very, very good beer.
So are people looking for, when they come in your store, and how do you tell them what beer to pick? Or do they already know what they want to get?
For the most part, they have a general idea. Now, that general idea can range from, I kind of want an IPA, maybe I want a stout. So then we just fine tune it from there. Okay, well, it's a little hot out today. Are you sure you want a stout? You sure you don't want to go with the IPA side? And
well, people are very particular about their favorite beers.
Of course,
do you find that they're also willing to try new things?
More than ever on the craft beer side, absolutely. It seems like it's more of a Pokemon situation where it's let's catch them all. You know, you have the one that you really, really enjoy. And if you can't find that, well, you know, if you can't find that, then you go on to something else and try different beers.
Are there any breweries that just fly off the shelf that you just can't keep a hold of?
Imprint Brewery from Hatfield, Pennsylvania. They're one of my favorites. They run the gambit from sours to stouts to pilsners. And every single beer I've had from them is a work of art.
That's great to hear. We've got a show coming up from Imprint, so I'm really happy to hear that.
Very talented guys.
Good, good. What else we got here?
So you're coming down this way, we have Old Reliable up here, the Oscar Blues.
The original canned beers from Craft Brewing.
One of the first craft breweries out there.
Here's one that I'm always curious about. This is Pseudo Sue. This is from Iowa, from Goliath Brewing. Toppling Goliath. Is that a beer from Iowa? Does it surprise you that that's a popular beer here in the Philly area?
It shouldn't, because they are so talented. The fact that they got out of Iowa and got distributed nationwide, now that impresses me. But the beer definitely stands on its own. It is awesome that they got out of Iowa and onto our shelves here in Exeter. But I can't say enough about that brewery either. Very, very talented guys.
Cool. So what else is going on here at Taskers that people should know about, that say, you know, maybe an upcoming event or maybe even just a special that you offer here?
So we do special orders. So just because you don't see something on our shelves doesn't necessarily mean that we can't get it. And we like to stress that to people. This is what we carry, but just because we can't get it doesn't mean we won't.
That's great advice. You'll hook up with the wholesalers and get the beer if it's out there.
Yeah, if we can make you happy, we will.
So I don't know, what one beer would you send me away with before we leave our session here at Tasker's Beer Barn?
Well, it's an oldie but a goodie. This guy right here, Zombie Dust from Three Floyds out of Chicago. It was one of the hardest beers to find for a very, very long time. Always very highly rated on Untappd. But I'm like a kid in Christmas because I can come to work every day and get Zombie Dust if I want, and I don't have to go to Chicago anymore.
Yeah, that's
very, very good beer.
Beer came and went, but it is a great standard. It's really nice to see that. Yep. Well, we've enjoyed our visit here at Tasker Beer Barn. You have a whole lot of knowledge about beer, my man.
Thank you.
It's great to just cruise a beer aisle with you, and also to come and have so many great beers. We're going to go and get another cold one after this.
Sounds like a plan, brother.
This is What's Brewing. We'll be back next week with another episode. For Glen Macnow, I'm Joe Sixpack. See you soon.
What's Brewing is brought to you in part by Monco Maker's Passport. Download your free digital pass and sip your way through Montgomery County. And by the Conshohocken Brewing Company, the perfect place for your holiday gathering. Reach out today at events@conchahockenbrewing.com.